this is the holiday version of the Mycological Association of Washington, D.C., which is MAWDC, happening on the first day of December. You'll notice behind me is the green logo of the Mycological Association. If you haven't seen it, there it is. Also, I decided to wear red, so we would be a festive occasion for the event that is notably holiday. So we have our green and our red. So on the screen in front of you is actually three different things I want to mention. It's the poisonous or deadly mushroom that's out this time of year is called Galerina autumnalis, the deadly Galerina. They're out. I've seen them several times this year. It seems to be a pretty good year for them. And that's a picture of them both on a log. That's how they grow in clusters like that, kind of about. Anyway, the middle is to announce the upcoming, we have a newsletter called The Sporophore. Andy Green is our newsletter editor, and the article, one of the articles this month will be on reindeer lichen. And so those are two types that we have in our area here. And there's a story there about how important they are to reindeer ecology. And then on the right is actually a follow-on from our lecture last month concerning the mushrooms that bioluminesce. And surprising to many of us that mycena is a very common for those. And there's a, by chance in Fungi in the News, there was a very good article announcing the full genome determination of mycena. And that's the bleeding mycena. That picture is from our mushroom fair a number of years ago. Hopefully we'll start that again this year, where we find things and put them on the table with labels. And then the bottom last is another luminescent fungi we talked about. That's, of course, the honey mushroom. And those glowing things are the rhizomes that they grow with. If you look in a dictionary under Foxfire, you will see that it lists bioluminescence from a fungi, and some dictionaries actually say Armillaria amelia, which is kind of interesting. So the board is here, and you will hear several of us speak tonight, specifically Tom, our program chair. But the point, and then of course Tom, which I'll introduce after I get done. And since programs are our most important product right now, this is a summary of what we have scheduled, starting with, of course, tonight, and rolling right through without a pause like we normally would do in January and take a month off because there were no mushrooms out, because there's no point in doing that when we're doing lectures on various things. And it'll be very appropriately crust and polypores, which are the most common thing to find, of course, in the winter months. And then followed up by summer mushrooms to get you ready, and then biopesticides. The bottom note is important there. One of our members requested, we have a lot of new members, that we give a introductory talk on at the Mushroom 101 level. That is scheduled for next week, 8 December at this same time, same station. You'll get a notice. Elizabeth Hargrave, the first vice president, will be the primary speaker. Several other of the members will attend to help identify questions. It'll be about an hour or so of just basics, and then another period of time for Q&A. So that's an opportunity for anybody who is interested in learning some basics. A couple notes from just our meetings, etc. We had an election. There were 58 total votes, which was enough of a quorum to achieve the numbers required. So the board of directors, partly, normally we would turn over a couple people, but with the virus problem, we all agreed to stay on just to keep us going until we can get somewhere physical again together. We have started planning in 2021. Now there will be physical gatherings of some sort, at least forays. We're talking about our annual Sequinota foray. That would be in September, October timeframe, and maybe joint forays with other clubs. We talked about maybe starting a photo contest. That's an ongoing deliberation, perhaps through the newsletter. A note on our website. It's a very good website. We've had some reports from the store, which sells t-shirts, that it's not working well, so you might have some trouble with that. particularly if you use a credit card. I don't know if that's been resolved or not, but at least someone was successful using PayPal. And then finally, NAMA is the North American Mycological Association, and they also have a board, and they're looking for a membership director. And there's some real advantages to being membership director. Apparently, it's not all that hard to do. That's one advantage. But you get free registration, food, and lodging at the annual NAMA foray, which currently is scheduled in Colorado in August. We'll see what happens with that. So lastly, I mentioned the first subject there, Mycena genome resolution, the evolution of fungal bioluminescence. So as it turns out, this goes way back into the history. It's 160 million years ago. And of the 600 species of Mycena, there's not that many of them, but it is 68 of the total 81 known bioluminescent fungi are in Mycena. So that's a very good paper, and I can send it to Tom if we want to distribute it. William Davis, our second speaker, is the one who sent it to me. The second thing is an ongoing story we've talked about at length. This is what's the psychedelic mushroom, the psilocybin mushrooms, or psilocybin, however you choose, being experimented with at Johns Hopkins, and they recently completed a study on depression. And the magnitude of effect that they reported was 4 times that of standard psychological antidepressants. So that's an interesting story, I thought. So the third one was more of the ecology thing. It's from the EU, the European Union Research and Innovation magazine. Mushroom cultivation, mushroom soil, there's a lot of waste there. And apparently they're concerned about what to do about it, and Europe is very conscious of that. They have less land to fool around with. And this was an article turning those things around at 3 billion kilograms per year into usable food products. The fourth item was Ganoderma lucidum, which we have in the form of Ganoderma tsugai and some lucidum, but this is the shining called the varnish shelf. They're out there, typical around tsugai is the hemlock tree, and it's related. But this was has been a known medicinal in Europe for a long time, or I'm sorry, in Asia. They've now demonstrated, that's the KIST, is the Korea Institute of Technology, of Science and Technology. It's used for skin. So it also, this is now another entry into the science of medicinal mushrooms. And finally, just so you don't think it's all necessarily good for fungi, there are a number of really bad fungal pathogens. Aureus candida is one that they have in hospitals quite a bit. It gets into your blood. And then the aspergillus is one that is in the immunosuppressive area. Anyway, they found a antifungal potential from sea squirts. Well, I guess they fight off the same things. Anyway, that's also in the news. So let me now turn away from the business side of the meeting and get on with the program side. And you'll notice, of course, in the bottom, happy mushroom hunting in the new year with a Amanita muscaria and a morel, sort of bracketing the hopes we have for the new year. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and turn it over to Tom, who will introduce Dr. Rue Vandergrift, who is a professor at the University of Oregon. So Tom, it's up to you, and I'm off.